again. I relapse, but love has never left me. Perhaps I should have found a way to pay it back. But if I get what you take, only take enough to swallow the pain. Drown the pain until it all wash away. From the night to the day you dream of. You forgive my mistake. It becomes another habit to break. I'll replay it till the guilt turns to shame. From the night to the day you dream of. Who needs a heart that tears apart? Ruminating cycles me back at the start. Time and time again I relapse, but your love is always waiting. Perhaps I can't save myself, so I fade to black. But if I get what you take, only take enough to swallow the pain. Drown the pain until it all wash away. From the night to the day you dream of. You forgive my mistake. It becomes another habit to break. I'll replay it till the guilt turns to shame. From the night to the day you dream Give and take, only take enough to swallow the pain. Drown the pain until it all wash away. From the night to the day you forgive my mistake. It becomes another habit to break. I'll replay it till the guilt turns to shame. From the night to the day. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? It's the end of the weekend, but I still wanna turn up. Yeah, I still wanna turn up. All I want is to go again, but you ain't picking your phone up. Why you messing my head up? Any night, any day, let me take you away. All I need is just saying yeah, 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 yeah. Better nights, better days, when you're here with me, babe. Cause you're all that I crave, so I wonder, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Don't hide away from me when I need you most. We got love guaranteed, and I have to know, say, where are you? Where are you? Don't be so hard to reach, just pick up your phone. Tell me where you'll be, cause I gotta know. Let me know when you're ready, cause I made reservations. Too many invitations, and the last night was heavy. I need communication. Tell me where's your location. Used to talk 24/7, every other second, just to make sure we were up to date. Now it's closer to 11, and I ain't hearing nothing. I just need to know that you're okay. Where are you? Baby, don't hide away from me when I need you most. We got love guaranteed, and I have to know, say, where are you? Hey, don't be so hard to reach, just pick up your phone. Tell me where you'll be, cause I gotta me take you away. All I need is you saying yeah, yeah, yeah. Better nights, better days when you're here with me, babe. Cause you're all I crave, so I wonder, where are you, baby? Don't hide away from me when I need you most. We got love guaranteed, and I have to know, say, don't be so hard to reach. Just pick up your phone, tell me where you'll be, cause I gotta know.
I can hear them thinking out loud, loud. Simple people acting so proud, proud. I hear them talking, talking, talking about us. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hear them thinking out loud. One might think it's obvious. Please don't spill your mind when you don't have a clue, hey. They don't know about us, babe. They don't know about us. They can think what they want, baby, but they don't know a thing. Even if they did have a glimpse of our truth, they wouldn't know about us, no. They wouldn't know about us. They keep wishing that I'd fall in line, line. But you and me, babe, we're one of a kind, kind. One might think it's obvious. Please don't spill your mind when you don't have a clue, hey. They don't know about us, babe. They don't know about us. They can think what they want, baby, but they don't know a thing. Even if they did have a glimpse of our truth, they wouldn't know about us, no. They wouldn't know about us, 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 us. They don't know about us, They don't get it, babe, living in a cruel world. It's a rare thing to do just what we do, love. Hold your head high and do it by your own terms. They don't get it, babe, no, they don't get it, babe. They don't know about us, babe. They don't know about us. They can think what they want, baby, but they don't know a thing. Even if they did have a glimpse of our truth, they wouldn't know about us, no. They wouldn't know about us, They don't know about
I'ma need safety. Tell her I can't snake me. Ray gun off safety. My girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world. She want the two-tone spaceship. Blow smoke screen daily, so the stress don't faze me. I'm going. I keep it factual. I'm on sabbatical. I'm out in Central America. I need a break from hysteria. Park like the one with the carousel. I get it lit in your area. I'm Block to the vision, it couldn't be clear. You couldn't pay me to care enough. I dare you to hate me, supreme with the sound through the stereo. So turn it up loud when you hearing us. We live and it's good in your area. My mama proud, she tearing up and it's going down. Got your girl aroused by these massive stacks like 100 pounds. Running big laps till the sun is down like 100 miles. Tinted frames on me leaning down, I'm winning now. Been a while, you ain't like me then, but how you like me now? Real one, if I hold you down, I'ma keep it there till we in the ground. Jet black when I paint the town, only blue sheets when they pay me now. Treat it setback like a step back. Wave, I got the game in a vice grip. Way up when the virus clear. All the homies on the flight list. Verbally gifted, take the plot and I twist it. Got it big lit. Sex with the incense, got my mind rents, won't stop, I'm relentless. I'ma need safety, till the op can't snake me. Ray gun off safety, my girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world, she want the two-tone spaceship. Blow smoke screen daily, so the stress don't faze me. I'm going, I want a grill for the mouthpiece, so bright that it light on my face. Your shawty just call me a fave, cause she like my character traits. I never stop for a break, I put a lock on the game. I put a stock in my name, but I give a f about the fame. I took a bite of that life and it tastes so exquisite. It feel like you do when you look in my pendant. Hopeless romantic, my girl, chin up for the kid. I'm not on no simps. Won't stop till the youngest he dreams. Wanna take him from rags to riches. I heard that you claim that you know me, but you ain't the homie, the f is your friendship. I need the loyalty, bag up the royalty. I give a f if you notice me. Ain't nobody holding me. Big wave at your shoreline, so they know it's me. Babe boy from the cold seas. Nitro with a new pen, go at ISO, tell him don't reach. Ice cold with it, no fleece. I'ma need safety, till the op can't snake me. Ray gun off safety, my girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world, she want the two-tone spaceship.
Yo.
I've been working overtime like crazy.
What up, everybody?
Just to show you how I really feel.
Three Stooges.
Haven't had a single day
Welcome.
of duty.
Hey, I'm doing something different on the audio.
Just to show you that my love is real.
It's supposed to be doing some noise cancellation. I'm trying to get rid of my AirPods. I don't like to wear headphones. Let me know if I'm clear, you guys. I need to know how the audio is. Am I clear? Sound good? Let me know.
I'm under your spell. Oh, baby.
Miss Drea, Ashley, Leticia. Thank you, Leticia, baby. Let them know. Leticia is such a good moderator. Such a good moderator, you guys. Jerry. What up, Sherry? RCC is in the house. What up, RCC? Hey, Kim. Kim is here. Mr. Awesome is here. Hey, did you guys vote? I want everybody to scroll up in the chat and vote. Scroll up in chat. Scroll up in the chat. Vote. Go, y'all.
I just wanna take another look at you so our eyes can finally meet. I just wanna take another look at you. Maybe that's when you will see that I'm falling hopelessly in love with you. Cause you're making me complete.
Three crash dummies. Once you guys pull up tonight. Don't you make me beg, y'all. Don't y'all make me beg. Welcome to another episode of High Value Shan, where not only is Shan a high value man, so is the content. On the eve of Thanksgiving 2021, It seems like some justice has been served. I don't have any notes. I don't have any notes for tonight, you guys. This was an impromptu live stream. You know, it takes a lot to stream live. First off, before I go any further, can you guys let me know, is my audio good? Am I too low? Am I too high? How's the audio right now? Because as you can see, I don't have any AirPods in. Normally I feed all of my audio through the AirPods, but they're uncomfortable. Well, I mean, they're comfortable generally speaking, but they're uncomfortable for the podcast. I'd rather just not have them in. And I don't want to wear headphones. I'm not wearing no big ass headphones over here. So let me know, how's the audio sound? Ashley says it's moderate. Should it go up some? Ashley, should I turn the volume up a little bit? Mr. Awesome says it's good. Ashley, check the audio on your device. Are you listening on a computer or a phone? Make sure it's at about 75 to 80%. Make sure it's at about 75 to 80%, and then let me know if my audio is good. Mr. Awesome, is your audio all the way up? If it is, bring it down to about 75, 80%. 3/4 of the way. LaRonda, hey you. LaRonda says it's good. Salute, Rhonda. Mr. Awesome says his audio was garbage when he came on. So embarrassing. Don't worry about it. Pull up tonight. Pull up to this show. Let's talk. Listen. I just want to make sure. Ashley says she's at 100%. If I need to turn the audio up, let me know. I'm trying something new. My audio on her phone is around 50%. But Mr. Awesome is at 50%. And he says it's good. Ashley, you're at 100% and you say it's moderate. Which one is it? Which one is it, you guys? If everybody can hear me, then we'll just go from here. I'm not peaking like I normally do. I'm a little, according to my levels, it's a little low. Kim says it's good. Mr. Awesome says it's good. So we'll just go from here. So I want to try it. And I'm glad that there's no echo. The biggest thing is that there's no echo, because this microphone is listening to everything that comes out of this computer screen. This computer speaker. This microphone is picking up everything, but I have noise cancellation turned on. And if this works out, then I'm gonna do most of my podcasts without any, because I'd rather just talk to you guys like this. And this computer, this is a MacBook Pro, the big one, and so the speakers are really good. Listen, I did not plan on doing this show tonight. We were going to talk about choices. We're going to talk about the choices people make in their partners. 75% with his ear pods in it is fine also. Okay, cool. Lakeisha says my audio is fine. Thank you so much. All right, cool. So this is the new setup. I appreciate it, you guys. I appreciate it. I'm gonna do a little bit of tweaking, put a little bass, but we'll do that later. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly. Listen, tonight we were supposed to be talking about choices. I pushed it to Friday. Because I wanted to talk about this case, especially with what happened last week with Kyle Rittenhouse. There was some division in that discussion. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. I want you guys to talk. I want you guys to pull up. Come on. Pull up tonight. You got to pull up. I'm gonna go and take a look at some reports too. I want to, especially with Kyle Rittenhouse, that story, I didn't know the whole story. Just like I don't know the entire story over here with Ahmaud Arbery. I don't know the entire story here with Ahmaud Arbery. I didn't know the entire story with Kyle Rittenhouse, and I was giving out false information. As an example, Kyle Rittenhouse, did you guys know that he did not cross state lines with that AR-15 with his assault rifle? Did you know that he had that rifle was purchased actually in the state that he, I forget what state it was, because he came from Illinois, and they crossed over to, help me out, was it Wisconsin, Utah? I forget the state. Point is, that rifle was purchased in that state. He didn't drive over. So many people thought that he drove over. His mother loaded him up. I was one of those people. I'm included. I thought that he was brought over. Yes, Mr. Awesome. Thanks to JB. JB was following the case. JB corrected me. What's up, multitask gamer? Glad to have you here, bro. Ashley says Kyle's case was self-defense. You know, the governor had pulled, he put 500 National Guard troops on call because he thought it was going to be some unrest. People are reasonable. People are reasonable. It's true that we do, as a community, as a black community, we think through our emotions. What up, Thomas? My man Thomas Thompson's in the house. TT's here. But by and large, you know, we can regulate ourselves when the facts are placed in front of us. I was giving out false information about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. I had said that the young man had came across the state with his mom with that rifle. That wasn't the case. That rifle was actually purchased right there in the state that he had shot those people. Hold on. Let me just get it correct. Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm saying Utah. What did I say? Utah and a whole bunch of bullshit. Kenosha, Wisconsin. That rifle was purchased right there in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Thomas says he's glad they made the right call. That rifle was purchased right there. And then people made it seem like they drove so long to go get into some unrest. So here's another thing. Did you know that from where he lives to Kenosha was only 21 miles? It was only 21 miles. His mother and him only drove 21 miles. If you're from LA, if you're from Southern California, that's like driving from LA to the Valley. That's going from LA to Long Beach. That's Beverly Hills to Compton. It was only 21 miles. They drove only 21 miles. And here's another fact. One of the three people that were shot by Kyle, they drove 51 miles to protest. They drove twice the distance to protest than Kyle drove to protect a city in which his father lives in. Didn't know his dad lived in Kenosha. Did you guys know that? He had friends in Kenosha. I thought he had no connection. The way the media would play it out, and I know better. I'm so glad that Jonathan Barronville corrected me. I know better because I'm one of the ones that preach mainstream media be lying to us and we got to go deeper. I should have known better. I'm embarrassed that I didn't know that information and that I was spewing incorrect stuff. I was embarrassed. You know what, Mr. Awesome? I'm not sure. What's up, Joel, the middle child? Glad you're here, bro. It's always good to have you here. I know you're going to pull up. We're going to talk about this tonight. I'm not sure if it was the one with the Glock, but all three of them were convicted felons. Now, that doesn't matter because you know they do that to us, right? They always look at they do a background check on the victims. But these three white guys, they were all convicted felons. One of them a sex offender. None of them should have had weapons. The only reason why it's relevant is because none of them were authorized to have weapons. They were all convicted felons and carrying a gun of any kind was illegal for them. Carrying a gun of any kind was illegal for them. So one of them drove 51 miles with an illegal weapon, carrying an illegal weapon. Kyle Rittenhouse drove 21 miles to his dad's home and where his friends live, where a rifle was already purchased in the state. Did you know that 17-year-olds can carry rifles in Wisconsin? I didn't know that. I thought it was an illegal carry for the kid because he was 17 years old. You need to be 18 to carry a handgun. You have to be 18 to carry a handgun in Wisconsin. But you can be over 16 and carry a rifle or a shotgun. Didn't know that. I didn't know that. So when the judge had dismissed, before he was acquitted, the judge had dismissed the illegal carry charge. It should have never been filed to begin with. It should have never been filed to begin with. What's up, L. Daniels? What'd you say? Lord, my child, changed my YouTube name. I had to change it back. Yeah, you know, it's it should have never been a charge to begin with, illegal carry for the boy. He was always allowed to carry an AR-15. Now, I think that's wild. I think it's absolutely wild that a 16-year-old can open carry an AR-15 in Wisconsin. I carried an M16. I don't think a child 16 years old should carry an AR-15. But even a child can't carry an open carry, not even open carry, a pistol. You got to be 18 for that. And that's what I conflated. I conflated the two. I'm thinking rifles and pistols. I just figured you had to be 18 to carry a gun in Wisconsin. I was wrong. You have to be 18 to carry a pistol in Wisconsin, but you could be 16 and over to open carry a shotgun or a rifle. That was more misinformation. There was a third point that Jonathan Barronville corrected me on, but I forget what it was. But those were two big ones. One, the weapon was legal, and two, he didn't carry it across state lines. It was already in the state, purchased 4 days prior, 4 days before this all began. It was purchased before the unrest and before the melee and mayhem began. Before the protests even started, the rifle was purchased. That's important. Timing is important. But isn't it odd that just last week, a lot of people believe that boy should have been, convicted. I don't believe so. I believe he was innocent based on the information that I got. And even when I was wrong, I felt that he should have been acquitted. Because what I did was I placed myself in his shoes. I placed myself in Kyle Rittenhouse shoes. And I said, man, if somebody was after me, even if he started the fight, I don't care how you slice it. Somebody's chasing you and you got an AR-15, they're coming to harm you. And after the facts came out, these convicted felon, adult men chasing this young boy. As Jonathan said, he exercised a lot of restraint. He exercised a lot of restraint. Hey, Snuggle. Snuggle says, I want you to say you are wrong more often. I don't hear a lot of people saying that they were wrong. They just close over the point that they were, which makes it hard for other people to listen. Oh, so that's interesting. Damn, you know what? That sounds like a podcast topic. Quafinino is back. My man Quafinino's in the house. What's up, One Titans? What's happening, One Titans? The third guy riddled tonight thought he was going to get off. Kyle isn't a resident of Wisconsin, so it's probably a charge of some kind. Oh, I get what you're saying. You got to be. Do you need to be a resident? I don't know. Do you need to be a resident to carry a shotgun, open carry? That's the question. I mean, it was dismissed. I don't know the details. I'm not going to get too deep into that. But I hear what you're saying, One Titan. Quafinino, he's prior law enforcement. Quafinino was speaking on the morality of what happened. I'm with Quafinino on the morality side. The legal side, which one do we get? Do we get to convict people based on morals, or do we convict them based on the law? See, morally speaking, shit's fucked up. Kid shouldn't have been there. Parents shouldn't have had him there. The hell you having a 17-year-old get involved in what was clearly violent protests that were burning down buildings? Why would a 17-year-old need to get involved in that? Morally speaking, no. I'm with Quafinino on that. But legally speaking, I'm with my man Jonathan Barronville, and legally prevails. The law prevails. Snuggles, she said, I want you to say you are wrong more often. Listen, Snuggles, I say I'm wrong so much. I'm gonna give you a little tip. I'm gonna do a podcast on this. Maybe I'll keep it for the members area. We're gonna talk about this in the members area in the Be a Better Man and Be a Better Woman series of videos. But I'm gonna give a little tidbit real quick on what you're saying. You want me to say I'm wrong more often? I say I'm wrong so often that people don't even pay attention to it. When I've gotten into arguments in my personal relationships with women, my ex-wives, one of the things that I'm always told is you always think you're right, Shannon. You're a know-it-all. You act like a know-it-all. How many people have been told that they're a know-it-all? Yes, Mr. Awesome. Law, morals are subjective. Well, are they? Not the law. Wait. Law, morals are subjective. I'm not sure how that sentence goes. Morals are subjective. Law is objective. The law is the law. But we talk about accountability. If everybody is hitting the thumbs up, please hit the thumbs up. People are flowing in. Listen. Snuggles, I would get in arguments. You think you're a know-it-all. You think you know it all. But every time I thought I knew it all, I knew it. Every time I think I know it all, I know it all. Every time I thought I think I'm always right, I'm right. Rarely do I get into a debate with somebody. Rarely do I get into a debate with somebody and I lose. I rarely lose debates. The reason why is because I don't enter into debates or arguments when I don't have all the facts. I've always told people, and this is something that I teach, do not argue unless you know everything down to a T. It's better to say, I think, I was under the impression. There's so many monikers you can use. I think I was under the impression from what I was told. I think I was under the impression from what I was told. I'm not sure, but. If you proceed a lot of your statements with that, then you leave wiggle room to be wrong. Far too often do people try to argue points that they don't know what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. That's a bad deal. Don't do that, you guys. Unless you know 100%, unless you've done the research, do not enter into an argument or a dispute. Leave room to be wrong. And so oftentimes, whenever I'm arguing with somebody, I tell them, I say, do you really want to argue? Like after losing 50, do you really want to argue 51 times? You've lost every other argument. Do you think all of a sudden today I don't know what I'm talking about? When I'm telling you this is the facts, I'm telling you I know about this one. This is not one that you're going to go find out more information on and then come back and tell me I was wrong. That's not going to happen. That's how I would be in my debates. But sometimes people would still argue because that's just part of their personality. And so they just continue to argue. They argue. I'm like, damn, you're going to be wrong 51 times after you just lost over the last few years, 50 arguments in a row. You never win. You're never right when it comes to me and we're going back and forth on a particular point or a particular issue. But here's what I would always do. And this is what I would tell them. I say, you know what? Did you hear me apologize for when I was wrong? Or did you hear me when you told me about a particular thing or how much the gas prices are or what something may have cost or who won an election or whatever it was, whatever it could be that I'm not really sure on? I'd always be like, yeah, I think Trump won his second election, but I'm not sure. And then come back and say, oh, no, Biden won. Oh, wow, damn, I was wrong about that. I thought Trump won, but I guess Biden won. I was wrong like a motherfucker. Anyways, okay, cool, President Trump. That's how smooth. And then we move on to the next subject. And then I'd move on so smooth, I'd call myself and say, damn, I'm wrong about that. Don't know what I'm talking about. And I'd move on to the next subject so smooth. It'd roll off my tongue so smooth. Oh man, I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't pay attention to me. Damn, for real? Shit, I didn't know what I say shit like that. Oh, damn. The fuck was I talking about? I didn't know that. God, okay. You right. I'm wrong. My bad. All right, cool. So look, what we about to go eat? It'll be something like that. And it'll be so smooth that it wouldn't even register. It wouldn't be like a notch on somebody's belt. I was quick to admit fault before somebody can point it at me. And so the next thing you know, you get into an argument with somebody about a different topic that you know you're right about. And they're arguing, you know that they're wrong, and they're still arguing. You know they have a history of being wrong. They don't do the research. They oftentimes don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And once again, they don't know what they're talking about once again. So then what happens? You're saying, look, okay. So now you argue, going back and forth, and then you got to go pull up research. You got to show them something. You got to show them that they're wrong. You pull up and you show them the receipts. Those people, well, that's a whole different argument. Sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. All these good topics. This is another topic I need to jot this down. Hold on. What we say? How to apologize, how to be wrong and admit it, and sign language. In sign language, shame, insults, guilt, the N stands for the need to be right. I tell people, stay away from people who need to be right. Stay away from people who need to be right. Avoid them. Don't date them. Don't fuck them. Ladies, don't suck them. Don't kiss them. Don't go out with them. Don't converse with them. Don't hang with them. Don't kick it with them. Don't deal with people who need to be right. It's never ending, and it would drive you crazy. It would drive you absolutely crazy. Don't deal with people who need to be right. Shout out to Mr. Awesome for the $10 super chat. Thank you, Mr. Awesome, for the $10 super chat. What does he say? Mr. Awesome says, Shannon, you gave me catharsis. I had to pull over. I get the same comments. I don't know everything. I don't engage in debates on things I'm not 100% sure of. I just like I don't do bets. I know I can't win. Me and Mr. Awesome are kindred spirits. I'm going to throw it up there. Me and Mr. Awesome are kindred spirits. Exactly. Me and him are kindred spirits. We don't debate what we don't know. We don't argue unless we know what we're talking about. Or we just don't. It's not worth arguing. Like, what? Oh, shit, I don't know. It's no big deal. Because it takes nothing away from my awesomeness. To be wrong takes nothing away from your awesomeness. To be wrong does not diminish my personality. In fact, in my opinion, I think it increases your personality. It makes you a better person. Shout out to Mr. Awesome, man. We're one and the same, bro. Exactly. But when I'm arguing, I'm right. So you might want to be quiet. You might want to hush if I'm debating you, and I'm steadfast at my point. Because once you do some research, you're gonna realize I'm wrong. Oftentimes, you run into people who need to be right. Shout out to my girl Kimberly. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat, Kimberly. What does Kim say? She says, shout out to everyone who was humble enough and confident enough to be wrong. Seek to understand, not always be heard. I heard that. Seek to understand, not always be heard. Shout out to everybody who's humble enough, who has enough humility to be wrong. Thank you so much for the support, Kim. You always continue to support the chat. You always support my channel. Thank you so much for that $10 super chat. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I know what you're doing. You're investing. You're investing. Yo, so back to her point, she was like, Shan, Snuggles was like, yo, Shan, you should apologize more often, because I don't hear it too often. Not too many people apologize. Here's her post. She said, I want you to say you're wrong more often. I don't hear a lot of people saying that they were wrong. They just close over, or gloss, I think she meant, just gloss over the point that they were, which makes it hard for other people to listen. Exactly. So saying that you're wrong is no big deal. Now, here's the thing. When I'm right, I'm right. So you don't want to get in an argument with me. But when I'm wrong, I usually don't argue at all. And if I do say something as a matter of fact and I'm wrong, it's no big deal it's like, oh, I don't know. I tell people all the time, I'm not above reproach. Jonathan came in Saturday night and straightened me out on 3 facts that I didn't know. He corrected me 3 different times. I had no problem saying I was wrong. It takes nothing away from me. It's not embarrassing. My ego is not all bent out of shape. I'm not hurt. I was just in a text. I just had to show somebody. I was in a discussion just yesterday. Somebody said that we had said something last month. And I was like, no, that's not what happened. Oh, yes, that's what we said. I was like, no, that's not what happened. Oh, yeah. So then I screenshotted the text message and sent it to him and then circled what I had meant. They called back. I'm thinking when they call me back, they're going to say, okay, you know what? I didn't realize that. I see you circled it. You didn't do what you said. I mean, we didn't say what I thought we said. You were right, Shan. You were right. No, that's not what they did. You know what? This is a person that needs to be right. The person that I'm talking about, the friend of mine, needs to be right. Unfortunately, that's part of her personality. She needs to be right. So even though I sent the receipts saying that ain't what we talked about last month, I told you on the phone that's not what we talked about. I don't argue, and I got a history of arguing with you, and I'm always right. Even though I showed you that, now what? Here's the receipt. I got a phone call back saying, well, I'm not really sure. Like, okay, well, what's, it's like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. You couldn't just call back and say, damn, you know what, my bad, I was wrong. Oops. Like, what is so fucking hard about people saying, oops, my bad? What is so hard about people saying, oops, my bad? Shout out to Snuggles. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, to be a high quality person, not high value, but high quality, you must admit when you're wrong, period. End of sentence. There is no but. To be a high quality person, you must admit when you are wrong. End of sentence. There is no but. Have no problem saying it. I know some people are allergic to saying I'm sorry. Some people are have a skin condition. They break out in hives when they say, oops, my bad. Get over it. Get over it. Go get it. Go get a shot. Go get a prescription for that shit. Learn how to say, oops, my bad. Don't push the goalposts. Don't change the rules based on how you feel because you just hate the fact that you're wrong. It's okay to be wrong. So shout out to Snuggles for that. She got me talking about something. We ain't even talking about the topic, you guys. Listen. I was wrong. On Saturday, Jonathan corrected me, and I have no problem. Hey, Atisha, I'm scrolling back to see some of the chats. Scrolling back to see some of the chats. My guy Joel is here. Quafanino's here. One Titans. Okay, here we go. Princess is here. Hey, Princess. That man, Sam Will. Cam Rob is in the house. And then you guys are writing. I think you guys are talking about. I'm scrolling past it. Cam says, state your proof and the facts will be revealed in any situation. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sign language. We're going to do a show on sign language. Shannon is cool, calm, and collective. You got to be when you're 49 years old. You got to be when you're 49 years old. When you get this age, man, you got to just be like everything. Like, well, no problem. No problem. Make love, not war. Cam says people would rather be right than to be happy. I'd rather be happy than right. Exactly. Exactly. Got to pick and choose your battles. Princess says, I don't argue with people who need to be right. I don't engage them unless I have to. I heard that shit. Pride. Derek Cooper's in the house. What's up, Derek? Rocking with me 100%. I'm rocking with you too, Derek. Listen, Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted last week, you guys. Young. He was 17 years old when he killed those two people and wounded the third. He's 18 right now. And he has been acquitted of all charges. He is acquitted of all charges. And now, we don't know if there's going to be any civil charges, but his criminal charges, he's scot-free. And I don't know if there's going to be any appeals and shit like that. I don't know how that works or all the details on that. But Kyle is free. Some people felt that he shouldn't be. Some people felt that he should. But let's move forward to Ahmaud Arbery. What's the details of this case? For those that don't know, and I don't think there's many people that don't know, Ahmaud Arbery was a young black man in Georgia. He's a young black man in Georgia who was an athlete. Let me pull him up. Let me just Google Ahmaud Arbery. I'm gonna Google Ahmaud Arbery. Oh my God! Thank you for the super chat, Kwafi Nino. Narratives and Dialogues with Kwafi Nino. Send a $10 super chat. What does Kwafi Nino say? He says, facts, Shannon. I saw it from the law standpoint. Remember, Kwafi Nino was prior law enforcement. Salute to him. I respect the law. And I respect law enforcement. I do believe personally that by and large, law departments across the nation have predominantly good cops. It's just the bad ones that we got to work out. My brother is a retired San Diego Police Department officer. My other brother is currently in Inglewood Police Department. I was going to be LAPD. I am prior military. I'm a veteran. So shout out to you. Thank you for your service when you were on the force. Whether you were security guard, a sheriff, and or a police officer. I don't care what capacity you worked in law enforcement. If you protected people, shout out to you, bro. What does he say? He says, facts, Shannon. I saw it from a law standpoint as well. I said, what part did his parents play in this? Exactly. The moral part of that story with Kyle Rittenhouse. The fuck was his parents doing, man? What are you doing? Can you imagine letting your 17-year-old go get involved in a fucking riot or a violent protest? We call it a protest. But when you get to burning buildings down, it's more than a protest. When arson is involved, it's no longer a peaceful protest. Can we all agree on that? But for argument's sake, we call it a protest. Can you imagine your 17-year-old and you taking them to a violent protest? Remember, this is on the third day he arrived. It had already been violent for 2 days. Shit was already burning down. You stay your ass at home. You stay right here. The fuck you talking about? You want to go downtown and get involved? No, you don't need to protect nothing. They'll be all right. And if they burn it down, they'll rebuild. Stay your butt at home. Now, my 17-year-old self would have done what Rittenhouse had done. That's what he says. Stay your butt at home. I said, what part did his parents play in this? Now, my 17-year-old self would have done what Rittenhouse had done. Yes, all of us would have done what Rittenhouse have done. If we were put in that situation, the idea is why we were in that situation. We should have been at home. Period. We should have been at home. Period. But Ahmaud Arbery. Let's see. We got some stuff up. We're going to read some articles. I'm going to pull some articles up on the screen. We got one from the BBC. What we need to know about the case. Ahmaud Arbery was a young man that was jogging in his neighborhood. Everybody knew him. Everybody in the neighborhood knew who he was. They knew Arbery. They knew Mr. Arbery. They knew Ahmaud. He was jogging in the neighborhood. He was just jogging in the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time. He was an athlete. He was trying to keep in shape. And as he was jogging along his path, there was a house that was being built. Let's call it was rebuilt, but let's just call it being built because it was gutted. It was wide open. Where you could, there's no walls, no drywall yet. It was just wood studs. Imagine a house with the framing only. It was framed out. There's a phenomenon, and did you guys, I used to do this. I used to like to go and see, when I see a house that was framed out, you'd want to go, I'd pull over, right? Especially if you into real estate. If you into real estate, you know, looking at floor plans for a house is exciting when you are a home builder or a homeowner. Because you want to go in there, you want to say, man, where's the bathroom going to go? Okay, so I see how the toilet is right here, but why would they put the toilet right here with the door right here in the hallway? That's odd. I don't know why the architect drew it that way, but I guess whatever. And then you kind of walk through and be like, oh wow, I see how. Oh, so this is damn, this is gonna be a big master bedroom. And then we know that the sun rises over here on the east and it sets in the west, and so that means, oh, that's why they put the big window. That's gonna be nice. That's gonna be nice because the sun comes up over here, and they're gonna have that in there. And if this is the breakfast nook and the kitchen right here, and I can see this is probably they have a drain and a water line right here, so this must be an island. The island is gonna go right here, and then this is gonna be the dining room. That's gonna be the breakfast nook. That big window, that's where the sun is gonna come in. Oh, that's gonna be nice. But I do not understand why the bathroom. That's what people do, and if it's a cool thing to do. I do it myself. I do it myself. Mr. Awesome says house watching is punishable if you black in a white town, Shan. Deswuvius is in the house 100%. Deswuvius says exactly. Builders are intrigued by buildings. I know I am. So what happened? Ahmaud was jogging and there was a house that was being worked on. But the problem is this house had some reported stolen things. And this is just information. I'm not really sure. We're going to read it. I'm going to pull up an article so we can all read it. This house had some things stolen in it prior. Police had been called prior about this house that's getting worked on. And so people in the neighborhood decided to take it upon themselves to police the neighborhood. Prior law enforcement. They saw Ahmaud run by. None of them saw him in the house, from what I understand. None of them saw him run by. They tried to claim citizen's arrest. But in order to do citizen's arrest, you have to witness the crime being committed. There was no crimes being committed. All they saw was a black man run by. All they saw was a black man jogging in the streets. So what did they say? Oh, he must be doing something he ain't got no business doing. So they attempted to stop him. Unlawful detainer, kidnapping. They attempted to stop him. And that's when everything went bad. From 20 feet away, shotgun was raised on him. That's aggravated assault. Especially when there's no threat and there's no crime being witnessed prior to. He tried to navigate, tried to get out of that. Some problems happened. They shot him dead. We're going to read about it right now. I don't even want to tell you what I think. We're going to read about it right now. These people who murdered this boy went scot-free. It was just another day in Georgia. It was just another day in Georgia. Swept under the rug like it's no big deal. The family is trying to raise hell, figure out what's going on. Nobody paid attention. The DA was just like, it's all good. Justified. 71 days. Ladies and gentlemen, that's over 2 months. Can you imagine? No one arrested, by the way. No one put in cuffs. No one gone to jail. Can you imagine your nephew, your son, your brother, or your husband being shot in the street with a shotgun? Did you guys see the video? It's hard to watch. Did you see the video of that black man getting blasted by a shotgun? Did you see the blood splatter? You see the blood splatter, the spray. It's hard to watch. If you didn't watch it, don't worry about it. And so what happened is 71 days gone by. Business as usual. And eventually, it got to the press. The press picked up the story. It got to the governor. The governor said, and the attorney general, and they said, what in the hell is going on down there? They sent the GBI, which is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and those people were arrested. But it took 71 days because local law enforcement didn't do it. They actually shot themselves in the foot. They actually shot themselves in the foot. Justice was prevailed eventually. Let's read about it, though. Let's read about it, you guys. Quafanino says, corrections and sheriff department, and went full time. That's right. He's in fashion now, though. That's what's up. Quafanino says he knew Ahmaud's family would get justice because in the past, when Obama was in office, they killed an electric chair. They killed by electric chair Troy Davis, a black man in that same town, and he was not guilty. Got it. Listen, the reason why I have the lead attorney's name in the title is because the lead attorney did a fantastic show on this very topic before the verdict came down. He did it just some days ago. The lead attorney did a fantastic show. He's an attorney. He speaks on this stuff way better than I could. If this was about entrepreneurship, if this was about fashion, I could talk for hours and hours. When it comes to the law, I defer to the lead attorney. The lead attorney talked about this, and he was worried because this jury, out of 1,000 people called. See, normally they don't even call that many people. This is what lead attorney said. Normally they don't even call that many people to be selected for a jury. In this town, they called 1,000 people to be called. 1,000 people. Only about 500 showed up. They were doing their best to make sure that these people were acquitted. They were doing their best to make sure that these people were acquitted. In fact, I think the judge had said something like, he detects that it looks like some kind of discrimination is going on. The judge said that, went on record to say that, which is big. But the thing is, of all the juries that were selected, only one black person. One. Now, mind you guys, this is Georgia. As the lead said, Georgia is two different states. There's Atlanta, and then there's Georgia. The lead attorney says there's Atlanta, and then there's Georgia. There's Atlanta, and then there's Georgia. In Georgia, all white jury, 3 white men on trial for a murder that had gone quiet for 71 days. 1 black juror. Yeah, doesn't look too good, right? It doesn't look too good. The league asked people to come up. And I don't know, I just had a feeling in my heart of hearts that Georgia would do the right thing. I felt that these jurors was going to do the right thing. Despite the history of this state, despite what's going on with race relations, something just told me, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Something told me that the prosecutor was going to do their job. Princess says that's true. There's Atlanta, and then there's Georgia. A lot of the South is like Georgia. A lot of the South is like Georgia. Here, let's read some of this story. Let's pop over and let's read some of the story. All right. Let's read this article 2 days ago. What we need to know about the case. Ahmaud Arbery, what you need to know about this case. This racially charged case of 3 men accused of killing a black jogger last year in United States, Georgia, has drawn national attention. The community at the heart of the incident is on tenterhooks as the trial nears its end. Ahmaud Arbery was shot on the 23rd of February, 2020. This is before the pandemic, you guys. This happened before the pandemic. Do you remember? In fact, on the 23rd of February, 2020, everybody was mad at Trump. That's when, because remember, Trump had shut down the borders to China because of coronavirus on January 31st, 2020. It was January 31st, 2020 that the borders were shut down. Nobody died yet of COVID. We had no deaths, I don't believe. This happened before what's my man name that was murdered by the cop had his was it? No. Wait, hold on. Let me look it up. I'm gonna just say knee on neck. George Floyd. May 25th, 2020. So George Floyd was killed after Ahmaud Arbery. George Floyd was murdered after Ahmaud Arbery. George Floyd was murdered on May 25th, 2020. Ahmaud Arbery was murdered on the 23rd of February, 2020. George Floyd was murdered during the pandemic. Ahmaud Arbery was murdered in February before the pandemic really kicked in. That's why people were so upset, because it's like, damn, when is this gonna stop? When George Floyd was murdered. Ahmaud Arbery was shot on the 23rd of February 2020 in a confrontation with George and Travis McMichael. It took more than 2 months for the men to be arrested, along with the neighbor who filmed the death. Lawyers for Mr. Arbery's family have called his death a modern-day lynching. The McMichaels argue that they were defending themselves while trying to make a citizen's arrest. See, here's the detail, though. They weren't trying to make a citizen's arrest. That's what the lawyers said. I learned this when I was listening to the lead attorney. They were trying to make a citizen's arrest only after the lawyers had said something about that. They added that. The McMichaels never said it was a citizen's arrest. That's what the lawyers advised them to say. George McMichael, who's 65, and his son, 35, and their neighbor, William Roddy Bryan, who's 52, was arrested in May last year. Mr. Bryan joined the McMichaels in their pursuit of Mr. Arbery. They each faced 9 charges, including murder and aggravated assault. They have pled not guilty. Prosecutors argued racism was a key factor in the case. In her opening statement, the lead prosecutor, Linda Dunikoski, told the jurors all 3 of these defendants did everything they did based on assumptions, not on facts and not on any evidence. On 8th of November, the jury saw footage from police body cameras in the moments just after Mr. Arbery was killed. Prosecutors used the video in court in an effort to undermine the defense argument that the 3 men were simply trying to detain Mr. Arbery. Did you know that after he shot that boy, soon as he shot him dead, he said 2 words. He said 2 words. The effing N-word. Fucking nigger. Shot him dead. And said, fucking nigger. You had no choice, the elder McMichael is heard telling Travis as the first officers approach. Mr. Arbery is shown on the ground just a few steps away. Prosecutors rested their case on the 16th of November after showing jurors graphic photos of Mr. Arbery's shotgun moves. In her closing argument on the 22nd of November, which was just 2 days ago, Ms. Dunikoski said that the defendants assumed that Mr. Arbery had committed a crime and tried to unlawfully detain him without any legal authority. You can't create the situation and then go, I was defending myself. You can't just go start a fight and then say, I'm defending myself after you shoot somebody dead. You can't just go and shoot somebody dead and say, oh, I was defending myself. You can't create the situation and then go, I was defending myself, Ms. Dunikoski said, adding that all three defendants had made their decisions because Mr. Arbery was a black man running down the street. Despite protests from prosecutors, only one black member is seated on the 12-person jury. Defense lawyers ruled out some of the African-American candidates for the panel, citing that their possible preconceived bias on the case was under questioning. The defense says the defense has employed two-part strategy: citizen's arrest and self-defense. The defense was saying that he has a citizen's arrest and self-defense. The defense says it's obvious that he was attacking me, that if he had gotten the shotgun from me, it was a life or death situation. That's what Travis McMichael told him. He spoke using police terminology and at one point cried on the stand. They love them white tears, boy. Saying he thought of his son during the confrontation. During his closing argument, defense attorney Jason Sheffield said that Travis McMichael had spent nearly a decade learning about duty and responsibility while in the U.S. Coast Guard. He also defended the younger McMichael's right to make a citizen's arrest and argued his client was worried that Mr. Arbery had a weapon on him. He was worried he had a gun because he's black. You know, black people, he had a gun. He was worried that he had a gun on him. In her closing remarks, Ms. Hogue said that a good neighborhood is always policing itself and called Mr. Arbery a recurring nighttime intruder that refused to stop when confronted. I don't even want to read no more. The footage that probably likely convicted them. A 30-second clip filmed from a vehicle following Mr. Arbery surfaced publicly on May 5th, 2020. It shows Mr. Arbery trying to bypass a pickup truck ahead of him on the road and then struggling with the man carrying a shotgun. There's a muffled shouting and 3 gunshots are heard. A second man with a pistol who was standing in the bed of a pickup truck is then seen standing alongside the other armed man with the jogger no longer in view. The clip, which sparked nationwide outcry, swiftly followed by criminal charges, was leaked at the behest of Gregory McMichael because he thought it would make him and his son look better. The father released the fucking footage. The father released the footage thinking that this would help. This is what I meant by he shot himself in the foot. His dad dropped dime on all of them. He thought that was going to help. 5 days later, footage from a surveillance camera emerged showing a black man in a white t-shirt, believed to be Mr. Arbery, at a home construction site shortly before the shooting. During the trial, the homeowner, Larry English Jr., testified that the man in question had not disturbed or damaged his property during the visit. He added others had also been seen trespassing on his property, but he never authorized the McMichaels to enter his property or confront anybody about it. Jurors also were shown body cam footage of the armed McMichaels searching for suspected burglars at Mr. English's property 12 days before the jogger was killed. Enough of that, man. What do you guys think? I could talk for another hour, but I don't want to. I want to hear what your thoughts up. You guys come on up. The link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. I want to hear some of you guys' thoughts, especially if you feel that the McMichaels could potentially be innocent. I have a feeling that nobody believes that. But I do want to hear some of you guys' thoughts on the case. Pull up. And you don't have to come on camera if you don't want to come up, but I do want you guys to come up. I think it's wild that some folk could just run around and shoot a boy with nothing in his hands, wearing gray sweatpants and a t-shirt and some sneakers. Try to stop him with the truck and then blast him away with a shotgun. And you argue, I didn't know if he had a gun, and if he tried to take my gun, he could have killed us. They killed that boy, man. And I'm happy that they are convicted of murder. I told the lead attorney, I said, I have faith in Georgia. I believe that I believe that justice will be properly served. I believe that justice will be properly served. And I believe, hold on, how to apologize. And I believe that this is going to set a precedent for a whole lot of those good old boys that think that they can just do whatever they want to do, wherever they are. A lot of people was worried because this is 11 out of 12 jurors were white. This is good old boy down South Georgia. 71 days went by and these people nobody was even arrested. The only reason that people even know about what happened in this case is because the dad gave the tape to the news. The father gave the tape to the news, thinking that, you know what, I'm going to show you guys how innocent we are. Here's a copy of the tape. Watch it for yourself. Watch it for yourself and you will see that we are innocent. And then now the motherfuckers is convicted. All three of them. All three of them. Even the guy videotaping in the follow car got him too. And they went home and they cooked some steaks, you know, chucked down some beers and shit, laughing. Finally got a kill, son. Finally got one. Called him an effing N-word right over his body after he shot him dead. I think it's gonna set a precedent to let a lot of people know, like, look, man, times is changing. But the kid the guy that shot him was only 35 years old. That's young. That's young. I'm only 14 years his senior. Just when you think that, you know what, all we got to do is wait for these people to get old and die out. You know, that was a prevailing thought years ago. It was like, you know what, all the racist people and the people, all the bigots, we just got to let them get old and die out. Young people, they got it. And that may be true, but it's not happening as fast as we were hoping it would. Especially when you got 35-year-old McMichaels and his father out there shooting black people down in the street. It's crazy. It's crazy thought. It's crazy days. Man, you know, I live here in Los Angeles, California. It's expensive to live here. The weather is nice, but the cost of living is atrocious. It's expensive. But if I had to trade off the money I pay to stay here versus some of the shit that I see coming from down south, I'm happy to pay the premium. I'm happy to pay the premium. When I was in high school, right before I graduated high school in 1989, so this was my senior year. There was a teacher that we had. He was a substitute teacher, so I don't remember his name because our real teacher wasn't there. And it was like a history class, and it was towards the end of the semester. I was getting ready to graduate. I was getting ready to be done with high school. So it was like chill. And so this substitute teacher came in there, and we just started talking about racism, the civil rights movement, Jim Crow era, and how he grew up in the 50s. Me being the inquisitive young man I am, I decided to ask this teacher. I said, hey, and I don't remember where the teacher said he grew up, but it was wherever it was. It might as well like been Mississippi. He might as well said Mississippi. And so I asked the teacher, I said, did you grow up being a racist? Everybody in the class got quiet. Like, ooh. That damn Shan. Asking these kind of questions. You don't ask nobody that. You don't ask no old white man that. I wanted to know, did you grow up racist? You telling us about the civil rights movement and you telling us where you live. You had to have been racist. I mean, this is before the civil rights movement, in fact. It was the 50s you're talking about. Civil rights didn't kick off until the 60s. And so the teacher paused. It was like you could hear a pin drop in the classroom after I asked that question. It was almost like, how dare I? That's how my friends were all my peers were like, how dare you ask that? Oh my God. But shit, you asked, so I want to know the answer. And the teacher was quiet. The substitute teacher, he was quiet. And he said, yes. Yes, I was. I grew up racist. How could I not? Because my parents taught me to be racist. He said, my parents taught me to be racist. And everybody was like, whoa. He said, but when I got out of their house and I became an adult, I left my racist ways. I moved to the West. He moved to California and denounced, and I know he didn't use that term denounce, but he basically said, I denounced all that racism shit. I got rid of all of that. And I learned about other cultures and I became a teacher. Everything that my parents taught me, all the hate, all the bigotry, all the racism, all the prejudices that my parents taught me, my father specifically, I denounced all of that. And now I don't speak to my parents anymore because they disowned me. We were like, whoa. The teacher, substitute teacher, told me he grew up racist. He grew up not liking black people. He grew up, this is in high school. I went to Chatsworth High School. And this is the year 1989. And the teacher's telling us, after I asked him, did you grow up racist? He said, yes, I grew up racist. My parents taught me how to be racist. They taught me to hate black people. They told me that you guys were nothing, and all the stuff that you hear, I was taught that. And I grew up into manhood not liking black people until I left my family. Until I left my family, went out on my own and realized it was all nonsense. It was bullshit that my parents was teaching me. And now that I'm not racist anymore because I learned on my own that what they were teaching me was wrong, my parents don't rock with me no more, basically. His parents gave up on him. They disowned him. And then he became a teacher in Los Angeles, Unified School District. And so that's why I really don't put a lot of people say, oh man, but it's all about, even in behavior, like we talk about relationships on this channel a lot, right? We talk about like people who were raised wrong. We talk about people who were raised wrong. We talk about men who say, oh man, what can I do? That's all I know. I've been with women who say, well, I didn't know any better. I didn't see any examples. I don't know any better. You hear people all the time use the excuse, and we all know what excuses are, right? We all know what excuses are, right? I hear people oftentimes use the excuse of how I was raised as a crutch, as a handicap, to allow their shitty, piss poor behavior, to excuse their piss poor behavior. Now, I'll sympathize for a little bit, but after a while, I'm like, no. Now, when we gonna get it together? You can't use that for all your life. No pity parties over here. We don't dance at pity parties, you guys, right? We don't attend pity parties. We don't go to pity parties. And so like this teacher had told me, and maybe this is, to be honest with you, I wonder if that was a pinnacle moment for me to always start accepting all of being responsible for everything that I do as an adult. Because I graduated high school at 16. So I was being told this at 16 years old. I asked that question of that teacher. I was a senior in high school at 16. I asked that question and he told me that. And I wonder, was that burned into my psyche? And then from there, I went and worked and I got a job and I started driving school buses. And then I ended up went to college the next semester, stayed in the dorms. But then I went to the Army and I learned more accountability and responsibility there. But I wonder if the teacher had actually kicked off my whole be self-accountable, Shannon, to everything that you do. And so when I hear people give excuses on, oh man, you know what, but I don't have, my mom didn't teach, my dad wasn't there, bro. I didn't have no dad. I didn't have no dad. I'm going to teach you guys, I'm going to do a show on what your father should have taught you. Because, my dad wasn't there, man. I only had my moms. I didn't know. Okay, but you're an adult now. You should know better now. How long are you going to use that excuse, bro? Women, all the time. Oh, you know what? I wasn't taught how to be feminine. I only was taught how to be, assertive and masculine and go ahead and be, I go out there and get all. So I don't even know. I never had no examples. My mother wasn't the best, blah, blah, blah. But now you know. So now what? Ladies, now you know. You know better now, right? So what's your excuse today? You don't have the ability to change? I know it's hard, but you do have the ability to make a change. I told you guys that a doctor told me that for most adults, in order to have a personality change, it requires some sort of calamity. If you are overweight, it takes a doctor to tell you that you're going to die in 6 months for you to go to the gym. That's unfortunate. That's most human beings. But you still have the ability to do so. So as an adult, what's your excuse? See, the thing about these McMichaels, these two guys, these people that tried to kidnap and eventually murdered Ahmaud Arbery, the son was 35 years old, living at home, from what I understand. He was a failure to launch. And if he did launch, he only launched down the street. A 65-year-old father and his 35-year-old son living in down south Georgia. Racist as you can. I mean, the prosecutor, she tried the case based on racism, on prejudice. And this kid went out there and shot this boy because of what his daddy taught him. And what did his daddy do in terms of him becoming a man? Nothing special, because he's still at home, 35 years old. Good old boys. Fire, after let's fire up some steaks, drink some beer. Good shoot, son. Even though he had already apparently went to the Coast Guard, his father was a law officer. He already had the chance to fly and leave home, fly the coop, but he didn't. And so, unlike the teacher that I had when I was in high school, who left home to go learn more about life and human beings, rights, civil rights, this young McMichael dude who's 35 years old, he stayed within the confines of his home. How are you guys living? Are you guys confined? Are you stuck at home? Have you expanded and spread your wings to go learn more shit, to go pick up new ideas and to explore and to be adventurous on this planet? This is such a big place. Have you traveled? Have you traveled outside of the United States? I remember when I've been out of the country a few times, but I remember when I went to Africa. I remember telling myself, I wish every black, because it was a culture shock for me when I went to Africa. And when I came back, I said, I wish every black American, every ADOS American would please go travel at least once. I wish it was a requirement for you to just travel. It's amazing. It don't even cost that much money, you guys, even if you went for the weekend. The $1,000 that you just blew on some nonsense is $1,000 that'll change your mind if you just went and vacated for just one weekend. You can travel out of the country for $1,000 and come back home. For $1,000, you can have a place to stay. You will have a flight to and from. I think it's a requirement. I said that. I remember I was young. I was like 22 years old, 23 years old. And when I got that opportunity to travel to Africa, because I had been to Morocco, I had been to Mombasa, I had been, in Nairobi, I had been to Somalia, I had been to Egypt. And I was just thinking to myself, man, I wish that I can just travel so I can go learn and and I wish everybody would just travel so they can just go experience life better than what we're having right now. Quafinino, I lost you. Quafinino pulled up, but I lost him. So I think it's a requirement because, like this McMichael kid, to me, it's clear that he never left home and he was incubated in all that racism his entire life. And so now we have a 35-year-old man hating black people because his 65-year-old daddy hates black people, and fruit don't fall too far from the tree, right? Sometimes the fruit have to leave the tree, leave the orchard Sometimes the apple has to, once it falls from the tree, once it's ripe, it has to roll up out of the orchard and go experience some different shit to broaden their minds. M. Mills, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. M. Mills says, left home at 17 to join the army. Salute to M. Mills. That's right. Hey, Miss Parker. I didn't even know you was here. I'm not, I get to talking. I don't look in the chat. I'm glad to have you here, Miss Parker. I'm going backwards in the chat. Lakeisha is calling somebody a big dummy. Disfuvius, there's a reason for everything. No such thing as coincidence. Mr. Awesome says, kudos to my teacher for actually admitting it. Yeah, that was big for, because it was, it was a class. It was, first of all, I went to a white school. So half the class was white, and then the other half was other, including black. So black, Asian, and Latino. But the fact that the teacher was bold enough to say, yeah, man, I grew up racist. I did not like black people when I was a kid. I would not have liked you when I was a kid. Was shocking to us. We was like, whoa. Like, did you just say that? In 1989, did you just say that? But then he said, yeah, and I got the hell away from home, and learned that was all bull. My parents was tripping. Yeah, man, that was a high level of accountability. You 100% right on that, Mr. Awesome. Kimberly says it too. She says, how great that he was honest, that he didn't hide from the truth. Love that, exactly. Princess says, we can't talk about what happens to us or the injustice. That's considered running in the victim Olympics. Move to the South or wherever. There's nothing going on. There's no wrongdoing, only excuses. Oh my God, I wouldn't be able to take it. That would drive me nuts. I couldn't do it. That's why I'm right here in sunny California. Sunny Southern California. So you guys, nobody pulled up. Coffee Nino tried to pull up. I'm gonna go ahead and close this discussion out. We had to talk about it though. Guilty, all three. All three guilty as charged by an all-white jury except for one. 11 of the 12. Okay, I don't know if they're all white. Maybe some Asian, maybe some Latino. Let me do it like this: of a jury of only one black person, out of 12 jurors, only one black person on there. Down South Georgia, from the neighborhood, by the way, from the neighborhood, from that community. The jurors are from that community. They weren't bussed in. They didn't come from some other place. They're from there. Down South Georgia, guilty on all charges. Or at least, I don't know if all charges, but damn sure guilty. I'm gonna find out. Guilty. That is refreshing, and I'm happy that that happened. I got faith in Georgia. Shout out to Georgia. Shout out to Georgia. Quafinino says, Shannon, this is a great stream, and you were way before your time in speaking up and being curious about that life. We were the same. When you do a continuation, I'll pull up. Okay, cool. Because Quafinino's cammed up with me before, you guys. He's come up with me. In fact, he came up last weekend when we talked about the Kyle Rittenhouse. So Quafinino tried to pull up tonight, but it didn't work. For some reason, he had to go. That's fine. I'm getting ready to wrap it up. Joel, isn't that wild though, Joel? Okay, so Joel says, imagine if there was no video. So the father, so you got two white dudes chasing this black dude in a pickup truck. You got a gun and your son got a shotgun. You got a pistol, your son got a shotgun, and there's this little skinny black dude jogging in the neighborhood. And so you decide to chase him down because you think that maybe he broke into some shit because all he did was run past your house. You call your boy, hey boy, go get your car and follow it. I need you to record it. So this boy is recording this shit on his fucking smartphone, right? far away. You guys stop him, confront him, try to unlawfully detain him. But you are a past cop, so you think you can do what the fuck you want to do. In fact, you worked in the district attorney's office. This dad did. Your son is prior military. Was he Coast Guard? I think Coast Guard, it said. So you think that you can do what the fuck you want to do with whoever you want to do it. You think you have the authority to do that, even though your ass ain't a cop no more. And you ain't a soldier no more. And so you got your boy recording this stuff, and then you stop. You shoot him dead. Police come. You say, "Hey man, there's nothing we can do. We didn't know." And now you got the recording from your boy. There's no other recording. There's no proof. Like Joel says, imagine if they didn't have that video, but you got one copy of the video. And your dumb ass, because this story is kind of picking up a little bit of traction because the family is arguing. The family is fighting like, yo, you can't just tell us that he's dead and gone and that's it. What the fuck? The family, probably not a lot of money, probably not a lot of support in that community. And they go and they say, look, man, something got to happen. And so the father of the murderer, or one of the accomplices to the murder, takes the video. And your dumb ass watch it and think that this is going to vindicate you. You think that you're going to get off because of this video. You take the video and then you submit it to the news. You submit it to the news, thinking that it's going to help you. Kwafi Nino's doing a documentary on this. Hurry up. Because you know the big studios is. Hurry up. Do it quick. Do it quick. Do you need... we should do a reenactment. I had this idea when I was a film producer. Let me back up. Kwafi Nino, when I'm in fashion, but also I'm a film producer, right? You can go to IMDb. You can search my name. You can see my past credits. I had this one idea, and the idea came, I don't know what year that was. Do you guys remember when those kids had a pool party? In some place they had a pool party, and a bunch of black kids was in this neighborhood, and they were at somebody's house partying, and this one cop took a black girl who was wearing a bikini. Little skinny little black young girl. And he took her, swung her around, and slammed her down. And then I think he put his knee on her back. Do y'all remember that? Do you guys remember that? Please hit me with it. I got 39 thumbs up. Can I get a like? Everybody give me a like on the video, please. I remember that. Yes, Miss Parker. Hurt my heart. I remember when that cop, and that was on video. It was almost like we was watching the George Floyd thing before it happened. That cop had his knee on that young girl's back while she was wearing a fucking bikini. It was sickening. And it was at that moment, Kwafi Nino, it was at that moment, and I think I was in fashion at the time, but I was still kind of like dabbling. I was still dealing with some of my filmmaking buddies and still doing some producing stuff. And I said, you know what I should do? Every time there's some kind of police injustice or something like that, or some kind of injustice going on, I want to reenact it. Here is the idea. I want to reenact what happened. I'm going to reverse the race. I was going to reverse the race. So whenever something happened, I was going to hire a crew, pull out my cameras and pull out all my production equipment, set up my truck, get it all together, and we was going to go out and shoot and reenact that scene. But the race was going to be reversed. I should still do that. I don't think anybody's ever done that. So in this kid's situation, it would have been a black cop. kind of chunky like that dude, and a bunch of white kids having a party. And when a little white girl in a bikini came around, the black cop was gonna take that girl and sling her around and slam her down and shove his knee in her back. Ooh. I even think I remember having a few friends was like, yo, because I had pitched the idea to a few friends, but they wanted me to produce it, and I wasn't into producing. I wanted to get into my fashion thing. I was like, nah, man, I'm a fashion. I'm into fashion, bro. I'm not into that. I don't have time, but it's a great idea, but I should do it. No, let me get into my, because I was jumping into fashion. I was making a lot of money in fashion. So Michael Brown with the cop, I was gonna take every situation. I can't breathe. There was gonna be a big white guy with a bunch of black cops putting them in an illegal chokehold. Big old white guy selling cigarillos in New York. And then there was going to be some black cops that came along and harassed him and then put him in a chokehold and choked him to death. That's what it was going to be. It was going to be a situation where George Floyd would have been a white guy and a black cop would have put his knee on his neck for 8 minutes plus. For Ahmaud Arbery, it would have been a young white boy just jogging in the neighborhood and checking out some houses and stuff. And some black people would have came along and shot him dead and recorded it. That was my idea. Tell me that's not dope. I wanted to reverse the role of the races. I wanted to reverse the races so I can illustrate to the world what it looks like, because a lot of times it's desensitized when it's black people dying at the hands of white people. So to make it stick a little bit harder, I wanted to switch the roles. I wanted to reenact the stuff, but I wanted to switch the roles, and I was going to do it to a T. I was going to make it so it was as accurate to the video as possible. I wasn't going to make the actors, one of the things I was going to make sure I did was ensure that the actors did not, how do you say this? I wanted to make sure that the actors did not, I don't want to add any emotional inaccuracies to the actors. I wanted to be completely as historically accurate as possible. I don't want to make them extra racist. I just wanted to say what they said. If, for instance, the black guy, the young McMichael shot him and said "fucking nigger," then it would have been a white guy named McMichael shooting a little young white boy that's jogging, and he'd have said some kind of fucking racist slur to him. Just saying that. He's going to say what he said. I wanted white people to see what it looks like in reverse. That was the idea. I could still do that. I should still do that. Would that take away from my podcasting? I'm really dedicated to this podcasting thing. I wonder if I should do that. Would you guys like to see that? It wouldn't cost that much money to just reenact the scene, maybe $5,000. It'd cost $5,000. Go out there and capture it and shoot it and hire some actors. Would y'all like to see that? Y'all got me thinking. Now I'm gonna have to call up some of my friends. I'm gonna have to pull it. They're gonna have to dust off my roller. They're gonna be like, what are you calling about film for, Shannon? You ain't been around here for years. Go back to fashion. Go back to fashion, Shan. What are you talking about, bro? Go back. That's right, the Swoovies. The son never grew up. He was a 35-year-old boy. I may have to call my guy. Damn, y'all got me thinking. Now my head is spinning. Emil says it's a good idea so they can see what they feel every time they see this stuff happen. Exactly. That was the whole point. That was the whole point. Coffee Nino said I can get the actors for free out here in San Francisco. Well, I'm in LA. I can get the actors, but it's not about free. I'd pay them. I wouldn't. I'm a different producer. I'm a different type of dude. I'd pay them. I'd pay them. We wouldn't need, but what, 2-3 days of shooting? It wouldn't even cost that much money. Even if I paid them at scale, it wouldn't cost me that much money. It's not about free. It's just about time. For me, it's time. That's how I feel these days. Now it's about time. At this age, and I don't have the strength I had 15 years ago. Well, actually, I do. I ain't gonna even front. But I don't know if I had the patience I had when I was an independent film producer, ripping and running through LA shooting shit. I don't know if I got the energy for that, man, like I used to. But I'll fuck around and do it. Shit. That'll be a whole series. Y'all be looking forward to that shit, huh? Every time you see something, every time somebody died, I would go back and reshoot old incidents. I'd reshoot old incidents just to have it in the can. That would be crazy, right? And I had a dope name. I can't remember the name. It was a dope name. I forget what it was called. It was like some kind of reversal, like Ebony and Ivory. I forget what it was, the name of the series. But it was gonna be a series. I don't know. That's right, Miss Parker. For you, it's about the message. Kimberly said, I could probably get a researcher to pay the whole thing, but your time is definitely a consideration. See, at this age, I switched from the producer role to the executive producer. I got more money than time. These days, I got more money than time, so I don't know if I want to be out there producing and putting budgets together and setting my day out of days and getting my call sheets together. Fuck that. I can hire somebody else to do that shit. But I don't know. Now y'all got me thinking. But then I got to go live every day. I'm going to go live every day. How am I going to go live every day if I'm making movies? Don't you guys suck me back into that film industry. I like it right here. I like talking to you guys every day. I enjoy talking to you guys every day. Please get the likes up. Please subscribe to my channel, everybody. Please subscribe to the channel. Did you guys hit the subscription button? I didn't get any new notifications on subscriptions today. What's up with that? I need you guys to hit the subscription button. If you're watching this show live and you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscription button. Subscribe to your boy. It doesn't take much. Thank you so much. I have to ask. I have about 24 hours to get 2,200 subscribers. I had a goal of getting 2,000. I wanted a goal of 5,000 subscribers by Thanksgiving. I only picked up maybe 500. I have until midnight tomorrow night to get 2,200 subscribers. Can you guys help me? Miracles can happen. Miracles can happen. I need 2,000 subscribers between now and tomorrow at midnight. Please like this video. If you don't do that, can you like the video? If you're already subscribed to my channel, thank you. I appreciate your support. Thank you for supporting this black male media. Thank you for supporting this black male media. Please like the video and join the army. Join the army, my friends. I'm going to be going live in the morning. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I'll be going live in the morning at 9 o'clock. We're going to talk about submission. We're going to talk about submission. We're going to talk about roles. We're going to talk about not biscuit roles. We're talking about husband-wife roles, man-woman roles. How's Thanksgiving going to be at your dinner table tomorrow? Ladies, are you serving your man? Men, are you doing what's necessary? We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I am Mr. Shan. Nice to meet everybody. I'm the man with the plan. I'm Mr. Shan. I am the man with the plan. I have been there. I have done that. And not much surprises me anymore. You, my friends, are dismissed.
Esa chica quiere selfie, selfie, ella quiere ver. Pa' que el CP se dé cuenta que aquí perdió esa mujer. Lo que quiere es enloquecer, ser la mujer que él quería ver. Esa chica quiere selfie, selfie, que yo parezca en él. Como que ella quiere disfruta la noche, lo anormal. Creo que el novio teme que su relación va a terminar. Se da cuenta que no necesita a alguien más. Quiere un selfie para su Instagram. Ella ya no quiere relación, alguien que diga su condición, que solamente le dé traición, para después llegar con un perdón. Quiere hangar y ser de esos pibis que goza la vida y lo hacen como esa chica quiere selfie, selfie, ella quiere ver. Pa' que el CP se dé cuenta que aquí perdió esa mujer, perdió esa mujer. Lo que quiere es enloquecer, ser la mujer que él quería ver. Esa chica quiere selfie, selfie, que yo parezca en mí, que yo parezca en mí. No tiene sueños, solamente en sus sueños nos ponemos risueños con un norteño y mi flow brasileño. Yo te juro que es bueno, ya me doy el palo. Es empate si lo desigualo. Le gusta lo honesto y lo malo. Me traje un regalo. Ella ya no quiere relación, alguien que diga su condición, que solamente le dé traición, para después llegar con un perdón. Quiere hangar y ser de esos pibis que goza la vida y lo hacen como esa chica quiere selfie, selfie, ella quiere ver, ella quiere ver. Pa' que el CP se dé cuenta que aquí perdió esa mujer, perdió esa mujer. Lo que quiere es enloquecer, ser la mujer que él quería ver. Esa chica quiere selfie, selfie, que yo parezca en mí, que yo parezca en mí. Dime todo lo que ella quiere, nada ha sido regalado. Entre más independiente, más quiero estar a su lado. Es de esas nenas, mata, es que más ella está plena la noche entera. Esa chica quiere selfie, selfie, ella quiere ver, ella quiere ver. Pa' que el CP se dé cuenta que aquí perdió esa mujer, perdió esa mujer. Lo que quiere es enloquecer, ser la mujer que él quería ver. Esa chica quiere selfie, selfie, que yo parezca en mí, que yo parezca